You want to visit or move to Tenerife and are wondering what to expect in terms of costs? In this video, we will do a budget breakdown covering accommodation, transportation, groceries, and social life. We will also share our personal experience and a few tips that will make your life easier. Before we jump right into the numbers, there's a few important things that you should know. The north and the south are two very different places, so where you want to live will depend on which lifestyle you're more drawn to. The north has a more humid weather and it can get a little bit cloudy and rainy during the winter. This is compensated by the fact that there are more lush forests with a lot of vegetations and beautiful hiking paths and landscapes. The beaches in the north have black rock volcanic sand, deeper waters and stronger currents. They're also some of the best spots for intermediate to advanced surfers because the waves in places like Playa del Socorro and Bajamar are great fun to ride. The north is also a great place if you're more interested into the gastronomy and culture of the island and you want to explore more historical cities like La Laguna and La Orotava. The south is the most popular choice among visitors because of its dry hot weather and sunshine all year round. Caters more to people who want to enjoy sandy beaches and quieter seas. It also has way more choice in terms of international food and nightlife. The hotspots of the south are Playa Los Cristianos, Playa Las Americas and El Médano, which is one of the best places in the world to practice kite and windsurfing. Moving up a little bit north on the west coast, you also find Acantilado de los Gigantes with its stunning cliffs and incredible scenery, which is also a great spot for kayaking and other water activities. And if you're still undecided between these two, I suggest you spend some days in the north and some days in the south and see how you feel like. Anyways, the island is very small and driving from one part to the other will never take more than 1.5 hours. We personally chose the north because we're not that much into touristy areas and we like the community and scenery here way more. If you're planning on visiting Tenerife just to escape winter, you can ignore this part of the video, but if you're planning on moving longer term, you should know that the best time to arrive is outside of the peak season, which runs from November to February. This is the time when most landlords will take their properties off the market and reserve them for tourists, which means that you will have a harder time finding something because there will be more competition and less offer. If you come during March to September, for example, there will be a lot more properties on the market and less demand, which will give you more negotiation power. This leads us to our first item on our budget list, which is accommodation. Let's have a look at what are your options. The most obvious options are Airbnb and Booking, where you can find a flat for about 1,000 to 2,000 per month. For these prices, you'll definitely find something in the north of the island, but if you're looking to move into places like Los Cristianos and Las Americas, you might want to take the lower range and raise it up a little bit to 1,200 to 1,500 euros per month. Prices on these platforms are obviously higher than what the actual rental market offers, so you might want to try and reach out to landlords privately or have a look at websites like idealista.es, fotocasa.es, milanuncios.com, and also plug into the private network of WhatsApp groups on the island, which is full of nomads that can help you find an accommodation. Personal experience, when we moved here towards the end of 2022, we used idealista.es and found a flat for about 750 euros a month. It was also well located in Puerto de la Cruz and had a communal swimming pool and garden, which was perfect for us. Very important thing to know, if you're dealing with an agency and they ask you for an agency fee, you should know that it's illegal for them to do so, as the agency fees need to be paid always by the landlord according to Spanish law. If you don't mind sharing and maybe you want to make friends fast, a great option are CoLiving spaces. CoLiving, both in the south and in the north of the island, charge about 60 to 70 euros per night, but they all offer weekly and monthly discount. Some CoLivings, especially in the north of the island, might lower your rent down to 1,100 to 1,200 per month if you book for 1 or 2 months in advance, so it's definitely an option worth considering. Great thing about CoLiving is that they offer daily breakfast, they give you access to a good workspace or even to facilities like jacuzzis and saunas, and they organize events and activities on a regular basis, so it's a great way to meet new people. We didn't choose a CoLiving because we knew we were gonna get our place for a lower price, and also they don't really charge per room, and when you tell them you're in a couple, they try to charge you double, so we didn't really like that and decided to get our own place. A great way to socialize fast without paying the premium price of a co-living is to just get a room in a shared house. You will find ads for rooms in places like Idealista, Fotocasa, Milanuncios, Facebook Marketplace, and you can always use the WhatsApp groups where nomads are willing to share their flats. If you have more questions about accommodation, feel free to leave a comment and we'll happily reply. Now let's have a look at transport. The best way to move around Tenerife is definitely by car. The most beautiful places are a little bit remote and hard to reach by public transport. Not to mention that waiting times can get a little bit long. Renting a car on the island can cost 500 euros per month if you go with a company from the airport, or a bit cheaper, maybe 350 to 400 euros per month if you go with the local C car. However, you can also find private owners who are willing to rent their cars for 250 to 300 euros on WhatsApp groups and on Facebook. Great advantage of the Canary Island is that they have a special taxation, so fuel prices for driving are way lower than in the mainland. This also means that taxi fares are pretty low. Basic taxi fare is 350 and you pay just 50 cents per kilometer after that. Groceries are pretty easy and straightforward. On Tenerife you can find all major European and Spanish supermarket chains like Mercadona, Iperdino, Aldi and Lidl. There are also a lot of organic fincas and farms on the island that deliver food, so you can get their number and order your weekly vegetable shopping from there. We spend on average about 80 to 100 euros per week on groceries as a family of 2 with a cat. You must know that we are pescatarian, so our main source of protein are fish and seafood, and it's a little bit more expensive. If you eat meat or are vegetarian, the price will definitely go down. You can spend way less or way more depending on what type of produce you tend to buy. Last but not least, eating out and social life. We eat out a couple of times per week and it's really hard to find a place that charges you more than 15 to 20 euros per person and doesn't leave you satisfied. You cannot leave the island if you first don't try guachinche. These are small restaurants that serve local food. The portions are huge and it's really hard to spend more than 15 euros per person. Totally recommend local dishes like papas arrugadas and queso asado. They're delicious. When it comes to nightlife, beer costs about 2 euros to 4 euros depending on the type of beer that you choose and the place. Cocktails can go anywhere between 4 euros to all the way to 12 euros depending if you're in the north or in the south, or if you're in an upscale cocktail bar or in a local bar. Entrance to nightclubs, it's about 10 to 20 euros and it usually comes with a free drink. We haven't done a lot of clubbing on the island because we're not really into the music scene here. There's a lot of reggaeton, bachata and salsa, which is really not our thing. So here's our recap of the monthly budget. You can expect to spend 750 all the way to 2000 for accommodation, depending if you're north, south, short or long term. When it comes to car rental, you can expect to spend anywhere between 300 to 600 euros. For groceries, about 250 euros should be more than enough. And social life, another 200 euros if you want to eat out a couple of times a week or even 3. In total, you can live on the island with budgets that range from 1,400, 500 euros all the way to 3,000 euros depending on your needs. That's it for today. I'm gonna link some of the resources I mentioned in the description, so make sure you have a look at that. Please do like and subscribe our channel if you think this video was useful and you liked it, and if you want to see more of them. Adios!